Society has put moral obligation to protect the safety and the welfare of its citizens. Only by putting murderers to death can society ensure that convicted killers do not kill again. These harsh but extremely truthful words come from Claire Andre. My name is Maylee Cartwright, and today I will be giving you information on why the death row policy should be legalized in all states in America. People kill every day. They kill every day and face little to no consequences. They get released from prison and they get to kill again when it could have been prevented, or they'll get released from prison and they get to live a free life walking above ground when they put somebody 6 feet underground. This could have all been solved if the death row policy were legal in every state. By doing this, the world would be a safer place. Recently, in the United States, the most popular way killers will kill a large amount of people are mass shootings. Since 2020, there have been 1,680 mass shootings in the U.S. On average, at least 3 people die every mass shooting. That makes at least 5,040 people who have lost their lives. You may be wondering, what do all these numbers and deaths have to do with the death row? 1,680 mass shootings. 1,680, and only about 400 have been sentenced to death penalty. That is 1,280 killers who get to breathe the air their victims do not. If the death row policy was legal in every state, justice would be served. Many look at the death row policy like an evil thing. People say harsh things like, "You're doing the same thing that they did," or softer but still argumentative things like, "Getting rid of them will not solve the problem." People who view this subject like that are understandable. Yes, it is true the killer would be killed next. Yes, it is true you're doing something that they did too. But the narrative of these two things are completely different. The people who would be put on death row would not be put on for petty crimes. Robbers, thieves, felons, drug dealers, gang members, and more crimes of this sort are safe. They are safe and locked away from the rest of the world. But that raises the question, where is the line? Where is the line where you can decide whether or not someone needs to die? These are the murderers, sex traffickers, rapists, and evil people. The people who you see no good in. The people who are defending themselves. Not the people who are defending themselves, and not the people who the justice system failed in giving them a correct sentencing, but the people who have caused mass amounts to harm to families and friends and victims. Those are the people who should not get to have the privilege of living another day. The world would be a safer place with this policy. Think about it. And I mean really think about it. Let's say you're my age. Let's say you're a 17-year-old girl who attends a school where shooting threats are common. Action may not be taken, but these threats are just as serious. Let's say you're a 17-year-old girl and you have the rest of your life in front of you. Yet you are terrified of going to school. You're scared because there have been thousands of girls just like you who were killed in their classrooms. You are petrified not only because it can happen to you, but because the people who do things like this are still very much alive, just in a separate building with a little bit of a thicker wall. Do you understand the closure and peace knowing that these killers are dead too would bring people? How the families and victims and friends would feel, the calmness they would have knowing that no one could ever be hurt by these people again. The death row policy needs to be put into action. This policy would not only bring closure and help people with their pain, but it would prevent more people being harmed. It would keep people safe. I, Maylee Cartwright, a 17-year-old girl who is scared, encourages you to do what I cannot. I encourage you to vote for the death row policy. I encourage you to speak out on the death row policy and protect lives like mine. People who are young and have no voice when it comes to topics like this. 5,040 people like me have died in the past 3.5 years, and 1,280 of them get to breathe the same air as me.